work stuff yesterday. I got work stuff today, too. Tomorrow, whatever. Wait a second. 1 second. What just happened here? Okay. Be right with you. Oh, yeah, one incense thing broke. Well. What am I? Why am I not surprised? 1 second here. I'm trying to. Before I burn myself. Huh. Interesting. My incense thing is burning on both sides. I only burn one side. How did that happen? How do you do that? How do I do that? I didn't do that. It's magic. Fighting bad guys. That was weird. I don't remember anything. Can't connect. Yeah, the chaos is, well, first off, the war. I think Trump is just saying they're negotiating when they probably aren't, just for the markets to calm things down. That's the vibe I get. I don't know. Yeah, it's understood why he would do that, because the whole place is 100. They don't want oil to get too expensive. They don't want anything to get too expensive. This war is too expensive, but they're still battling. And there's a news blackout anyway, so you won't know what's going on anyway. So just the way it is. So what is? Yeah, and the airport stuff is because of this. So we are getting affected, just not in the way that you would think you'd get affected. I think it's funding, and of course they're doing all the war funding right now, and the funding for the DHS and. Yeah. So we'll see how World War III plays. Nobody knows when this is going to be over. As most people want to say they know, we don't know. I'm not sure if I'll do a channeling or anything. Just, people get too reliant on those beings. You rely on ourselves, something like that. The chaotic energy that's here, the dark entities and everything that's manipulating our reality. Of course, they get, fraudsters, like on YouTube, the large spiritual, kids channels, basically, the little channels. They say their spirituality was really just trash. I think people already know this, but, they do that to taunt everyone. The kids, the people with no brain, or whatever, can't heal themselves, whatever, NPCs, these tricksters, have a large following. And it does drive people that are real, it gets you mad. Get you like, why am I not getting attention? I'm not out to manipulate anybody. Well, yeah, that's the whole idea. Like Journey to Truth and Elena and Asala and all their trash that's out there. All their garbage. They're just there, the hucksters are out there that are just clowns. I mean, there's got to be some kind of truth there somewhere, but it's mostly just garbage. But it's there to taunt people, drive you crazy. Piss you off. I'm magic, so I don't care. It's trash, so who cares? Throw the trash in the trash. Call it out for what it is, and it's garbage, basically. And pretty much that's what it is. Not to mention it too often, but when you add trash to it, I think it kind of gives it a little bit more depth. Like we're this, but we're actually garbage. So I'm nobody anyway, right? Who cares? They start going after me. It's like, I'm nobody. What are you going after me for? I got no. I mean, I'm gonna have subscribers for now, but I got no viewership. I compared to theirs, so welcome. It's just a big dumpster anyway, right? So, it just came to mind today. Because those that are real, even those that are going after this, the SSP stuff, the real stuff, not this, like I say, not that trash, without mentioning them again. The real, there is real stuff to heal there. Why aren't you getting enough attention? And the entities here are here to drive us all insane, basically. Obviously, right? That's why, they want to make you upset, and that's easy to do. It just, you want to get, that's why you need to calm that down somehow. Not easy. But they want to get you all pissed off after them all, after the trickster energies that are here. And frustration. Lose your mind, lose yourself, alcoholism, whatever. And you just, so they can, because they do that because they want to grab, they want to take your soul, basically. But you have to kind of really destroy yourself for them to do that. Or get you off topic or whatever. So cold. Battling the bad guys. So, it's tough. But, and there's the other thing, too. It's all complicated because you gotta find, but of course you gotta vent out your frustration somehow, but you have to also find some kind of mental clarity, sanity, something somewhere, even if this world does not offer any of that. The dumpster planet. This whole new Earth nonsense for a planet like this. It's like, okay, so your world's covered in maggots, basically. We're going to go to the new Earth one day. It's okay, whatever. It's like, you might shift to a better reality. Yes, this dump is going to stay a piece of shit. Because that's what it's here for. It's good at it. It's where all the parasites are. Just look at the trash. That's part of the spiritual community. They're stuck here, man. They're not leaving. So, of course, they're going to get after you and attack you, yada, yada, yada. It's tough. But they try to get into your energy field and just drive you mad. And you get frustrated, especially you get older, and they just keep the attacks never end. And just like, you have to have some kind of, even the teacher has to take his own medicine. It's like, we all have to just chill and just, tell other people to relax, but are we relaxing ourselves? We're ready to pound your head through a freaking wall. So tired of this planet and all this bullshit. Like, what a dumpster. Not everyone sees it that way. And that's good. But some of us see an X for an X. It's like, it is a dumpster of the universe. I don't care what anybody says. If so many people are holding on to nature, animals, all that, so what about humanity? I mean, obviously I understand why not. It's like, because they suck. I mean, there's some good there, obviously, but animals are a lot better than humans, so due to all the manipulations, and who knows how many humans are possessed by God knows what, and so on. It's like, man, just get to an animal. It's like, even a bat, anything. That's why the animals are here, to help us through this. To see and sewer, but also help us calm our frequency down and keep our sanity somehow. Look cute and all that. We need that to keep our sanity through all this. We go fucking insane. Because the more as people want to know, you want to know more, right? It's like, I want to know more. I want to open up my third, and you start opening up third eye, and you're ready to go, and you're ready to scream. Because then you see through all this bullshit, and you see the trash for what it is. So, and you have to find something that keep you sane. It's hard. It's all mental. But that's why it's good to continue with your talents, and because society is just, I mean, there's some good there, somewhere. But so, like where I live, this is whatever. I mean, unless you're an NPC, you're pretty much fucked here. And I'm the same in other places. It's pretty much dead on arrival where I am. And but then again, you have spiritual connections. I mentioned before the soulmate connections, you're in the kindred spirit and all that. You might feel those frequencies around. And that doesn't mean that's necessarily a manipulation. It could also mean that's just their stuff. You know, they might attack you because that's their stuff, their defense system. You know, that's what gets confused. Just there to taunt you and, you know, put you in the garbage. Well, especially if they've been through a lot of trauma because of their own stupidity, or they got one too, right? And you're helping them. So I'm just here to help, and they're just losing their freaking minds, their heads on fire. You know, don't know who to trust and all that. So it gets, you know, we all need our sanity pill somewhere. So sleep helps. Maybe, then again, you probably sleep too much. Not everybody's the same though. So, yeah, because you do get, well, the entities here that want to take us down. Yeah, because the more we get more understanding of how this all works, obviously attacks increase. They want to, you know, fuck you up even more. I mean, whatever, you can just clear that out, but, you know, just the way it is. You just got to do the best you can. Because you're also a part of the awakening. The longer you're alive, the better. As difficult it is. I'm ready to move off to another planet. It's like, man, forget this place. And why we're here is never really clear. Here to bring something new here, help others, figure ourselves out. Everybody has their own theme here. Everyone's different. Doesn't mean you have to know all of it. So anyway, yeah, keeping your sanity is, I think the big thing is, yeah, I see all these large YouTube channels. That's where a lot of people are getting their information from. And it's just a big sewer, basically. It puts on a nice show, I guess, if you know how it is behind the scenes. It's a different story. Yeah, it's a sewer. They're trying to put on the best persona they can. Well, like, what is it, the Today Show and stuff like that. And then you hear about the behind the scenes and what the same thing. They just haven't had anybody really whistleblow. I mean, I can tell you, I guess I'm whistleblowing a little bit. You don't really see any whistleblowers for obvious reason. They want to come after them because they're so beloved. Yeah, it's kind of like the Bill Cosby type thing. Yeah, they're just so loved by everyone. Man, Bill Cosby is a fucked up one. Some of us grew up with Bill Cosby. We would never ever once think, because we were sold that version of him from TV. We never had no idea of the other side of him. It's like, talk about taking a tough one to take that one in. And who would have believed it? Because it's been the fake persona was sold for so long. Unless you're in the inside. So that took a long time for that to get out. Holy shit. So even those that are spiritually connected still feel like that's, they have trouble believing it. Even I had trouble believing it. It's like, what the fuck? So that tells you the amount of manipulation that's out there. So until spirituality gets more of attention from the mainstream, those that can see it for what it is, I think it's mostly ignored. They see how crazies for what they really are, but whatever. This is all belief systems. It's so hard to, it's like going after religion. Something. It's complicated. So, traumatized people that are pulled into this stuff, or those have just been manipulated, and God, what a mess. Yeah, it's a sewer. Welcome to Earth, huh? But yeah, they're the entities here, archons, dark entities, demonic energies. I mean, they're everywhere. The ones that have lost, they gave up on themselves, their souls, and they didn't heal. Because this world is a middle point. So they incarnate here, maybe, Some of them might heal and move on. Or, that's hard to pick. Because I've seen, I imagine I'm not alone here. Imagine you've seen people that actually look like a demon. And they kind of look like Golem or something like that. And, they're kind of, usually they know everything. It depends. Whether their health is decaying or something. Some kind of weird, it's like they might have a lot of knowledge, but they're also decaying. Their health is in decay because their souls came from the lower dimensions. Now, are they healing that? They might be healers too. Yeah, it's weird. Again, they put their ego aside, and because they incarnate here to possibly go to a higher frequency. Of course, the other thing is the other thing. The astral realms. This is why I'm not going to channel anybody. What's the fucking point? See, people get too reliant on them because obviously the alien beings, it's one thing astral, we'll look at a different way, like spirit beings, like, what we are, obviously you can still be connected to Pleiadians and whatever, but I think more spirit realm where it's not less physical. It just shows you how screwed up that realm is. If you look at this place. So just because you're in a higher frequency doesn't mean you're not carrying on a bunch of garbage. Doesn't mean you're not a psychopath there. You might be. They might have a more handle of it, but you're in the higher frequencies, but they're carrying around all this trash. So they come here to clean it out, maybe. Or just make it worse, whatever. So the higher dimensions aren't what they're cracked out to be. I mean, yeah, they're a higher frequency, but they still have issues. That's where the Bible and all that kind of screws that up. So, just go to heaven, everything's perfect. And there might be some truth there, but it doesn't mean they're not carrying around a bunch of garbage still. So they're carrying around their baggage and so on. They're not what they're cracked out to be. So if you want to tell off the spirit realm, you're justified. You feel like they're full of shit, you're justified. Because they're full of shit. They're not what they're cracked out to be at all. The aliens, at least, because they're depending. Some are more compassionate because they're, they might be fourth dimension, a different reality from ours, somewhat. But it's just different. Because they can relate to us a little bit more. They're trying to work on themselves. It all depends. But there's, like I said, there's spirit realms where their heads are so far up their ass. And just keep, yes, I understand they say use positivity. Obviously you need that to keep your sanity here. But it doesn't mean the spirit realms is this another dumpster fire, basically, which I've been talking about in the past anyway. So, but either way, you still have to look at the positive side of it to keep your sanity and just, So if you connect to a loved one and you still think they're full of shit, probably because they are. Because they're passed over doesn't mean they're not so scumbag. And of course, you get pushback from everybody here because I'm so brainwashed. This place is such a joke. So, but the aliens, at least, depending on who they're, obviously there's darker ones, but then there are others that are more compassionate towards us, and they're like in the fourth dimension. Of course, there's an astral realm, but whatever. This fourth and fifth, they're a little bit closer to us, you can say, and they're helping us, and they're just, they're not in La La Land spirit realm where they're just, because in the spirit realms they get more disconnected. There's just different, they get more, they're less human, they don't have a body, they're nowhere near it, and they're more full of themselves than they've ever been before. It depends on where you are, and that's why as the alien energy, you kind of balance that. They pull their head out of their ass, basically, depending on who they are, obviously. So, but the spirit realms is kind of, like I said, it's another dumpster fire. It's just we're in the physical dimension seeing all their crap. But in the higher dimensions, you still see their crap. But they're, I don't know, they manage it better somewhat, I guess. Yeah, it makes you question that. I don't know, man. It's just, yes. This place is exhausting. Yeah, well, I want to say there's no hope, but, like I say, people want to open themselves up. It's not what's cracked out to be them. So you start opening yourself up, like, wow, the astral realms, what a dump, yeah, what a shithole. Higher dimensional hellhole, huh? You have hell, and you have higher dimensional realms that are just whatever, right? So this whole place is pretty much a sewer when it comes down to it. No one's perfect, but not that great either. So it's good to call them out. They deserve it. They're not that great. They're supposed to help us. They sit around. They're disconnected, checked out. They're living in their own little universe. And it's good to call them out for what they are, clarity guides, whatever. Just, next to the next, basically. If you feel like they're helping, doing the best they can, then they probably are. If you feel like they're just slacking off and full of themselves, they probably are. But it is good to keep your sanity, have some kind of positivity to get you through this. You have to have something somewhere. You might be mad here, because the place is kind of a dumpster fire, basically. It's kind of a lost cause. Humanity has failed here in a lot of ways, but not completely failed. You wouldn't be here. It has some kind of positive. It just took a wrong turn. They can't seem to get their act together. And then you have those that are people here that just want positive messages and all that, but they can't heal themselves for because if like I said, if they were so positive, wouldn't this world be a positive reality? So they just want positivity, but they cannot heal themselves for worth a damn. They might be trying, I don't know. Yeah. Some of them like that darkness. But they like hearing the positive, because they don't like seeing their own shit. Like looking in a mirror, they don't want to see it. All right, here's some positive energies. They're not ready to work on themselves. Like even TV shows will talk about some dark stuff here or movies, but that's to bring the darkness out. You don't have to have it attached to you. Clear that out. But it's like that's what's here. They're telling you what's here. They're actually telling you stuff. I'm just using that as an example, books and so on. And books, you go deeper. It's just to let you know what kind of world you're on, or in, or whatever. And people don't want to see it. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's rough. Especially like I say, he's like, okay, this world is a shithole. It's like, well, wait a minute, the higher dimensions. Fuck, man. That's not that great either. It's better than here, but they still got the shit to work on. So, like I said, it's not a lost cause there either. I mean, it's better than here, not by much, but it's still better than. Still you have to go. Yeah, but you're here to see that. To have your awakening and so on. So it's not all lost cause. Just anyway, do whatever you gotta do. Just let it be, right?